Decision Plus has been and still is a leading stock market service provider. From training to coaching, we cover it all. Try both our software as well as our coaching site, completely free for 10 days without obligation. No credit card is needed to sign up for the trial. The trial subscription will be automatically canceled for you at the end. DecisionPlus.com, your stock market service center. Real-time coaching has been created. We search and classify critical reports and technical movements. You can visualize or hear the best buying and selling opportunities. Get real-time advice all day long and 3 live coaching shows per day. Let us do the work and save your time for trading. Try MarketGurus.tv free without obligation for 10 days in the menus above. Market Vision Plus is the trading companion of so many investors. Make your fundamental and technical analysis easy with Canada's #1 stock market decision-making software. Research, decide, and follow your positions with Market Vision Plus. See the menus just above this program and try Market Vision Plus for 10 days without any obligation after the show. When it comes to day trading, Trader Plus is the right tool. Track 50 quotes simultaneously, create dozens of quick lists, display as many as 30 real-time intraday charts at the same time. Watch the action with candlesticks or bar charts as fast as 10 seconds. See the market by sectors. Use the chart models already prepared for you. Try Trader Plus for 10 days in the menu above without any obligation.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Swing Trading Show. Today we're Tuesday, June 9th, 2015. Today folks, in the markets, we actually have markets that declined at opening and finally had a slight rebound, and this rebound was mostly led by the resources, mostly energy. The energy sector remained kind of strong today. It's one of the strongest in the resources. It has been the leader on this rebound in the markets, but this rebound though, take a look at this. Well, on the Nasdaq, it's not really energy stocks. It's mostly some stocks in the healthcare sector where we have seen a slight intraday rebound. On the industrial, on the Dow Jones Industrial, right now we're having stabilization phase after testing the support. So the first target has been reached on the Dow Jones. It's kind of normal, technically speaking, that at this support we might have a rebound. And on the TSX, because the energy sector is rebounding, we're having a rebound. However, the TSX still maintains its upward trend, and even the energy sector though, as long as we maintain this downward trend, there's no need to close your short positions. I give you an example. On MarketGurus.tv that you can have access for free for 10 days, we actually recommended that stock, KAL, as a short yesterday. Today it's having a rebound just like a lot of stocks in the energy sector, but it's not appropriate to close that position because so far it has not broke out that's resistance at 876. So there's no need to close that short positions on KAL expiration. Now for the energy sector though, we have oil that's having a slight intraday rebound. So far natural gas, I know yesterday a viewer asked me, should you get in on natural gas? Well, I was saying that you have to be willing to tolerate a volatility, because maybe with all this congestion here that natural gas might not have that much of a upward potential. Well, I was wrong because actually we have natural gas that went slightly above its 50-day, 30-day moving average. So it did pay off if you actually open some positions on HNU. The thing is that should you get in today? Well, by looking at natural gas intraday-wise, since that commodity has made a second uptick here, well, so far it has stabilized. And I don't think that today we're going to have a push that will allow natural gas to go higher, because just by looking at the stochastics right now, we actually have more of a selling pressure because we're having a negative top on the stochastics. So for the energy sector though, this is a strategy. Those of you who want to open some long exposure, to gradually increase your long exposure on the energy sector, I think what you should favor though are mostly stocks that have resisted to the correction. I'll give you an example. Stock like Parex Resources, even if the energy sector had a correction for the last few days, well, Parex Resources didn't budge, stayed neutral. So that's a you should continue to keep, or you could actually say, you know what, I'm going to start to build up my long positions within this side information, putting my exit point at 977. Precision Drilling, another example of that. The stock didn't budge, even if the energy sector saw a correction. So we do have a long, tight, neutral formation on the Precision Drilling, but it's still a stock that you could actually favor, technically speaking, to gradually open your long exposure. A stock like Ensign Energy Services also as well fit that criteria. In terms of the stocks you could avoid though, stocks like Enerplus, for instance, that have not resisted to the correction of the last few days, I don't think that with today's rebound that remains timid, that it's a stock that you could actually consider as a buy. Because Enerplus so far continues to maintain its decline, continues to maintain its downward trend. This rebound in the energy stocks so far was not enough to allow the energy stocks to reverse their downward trend. Concerning the gold sector, it's a sector also that has a slight intraday rebound, but really remains kind of weak for the gold sector. We had Dator Gold today that remains at Dator Gold. Look, it's testing the top of an upward corridor. For swing traders, though, I think it's kind of getting too late for Dator Gold to get into a stock like that. I'm definitely not a fan for swing trading. Even on the yearly basis too, look at this testing the top of an upward corridor. So we definitely have the conditions where Dator Gold is more appropriate for a profit-taking opportunity. Even look at this here, intraday wise, since the stock has reached 1540, which corresponds to the top of its upward corridor, it was unable to go higher. So that confirms that to get in right now, it's not a great timing and the wave of sellers is more present. So the question bar is open, folks. If ever you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Let's take a look at some news here today. We have some news about inflation in China, where it continues to decline from 1.5 to 1.2%. It's below estimates. Not really positive, though. If inflation doesn't spike up in China, it's not so positive. We also had a GDP reading, the first reading of GDP for the first quarter in the Eurozone, in line with estimates. And Greece are talking with their creditors, and what they're talking about is to have an extension of their program until March 2016. And if ever they can agree to that extension of March 2016, well, then Greece will be able to have the money from the bailout plan. Because what Greece said recently on Friday is that they will not able to, they have postponed the payment that they were due to the IMF on June, because they didn't have enough money. So if they could actually sign an agreement to have an extension of the bailout program, they will have some money, and later on they'll be able to negotiate how they could bring their debt level into a sustainable level. It's still something that worries investors so far, and it's definitely not positive for the Eurozone. Now, concerning the news here, we had some great movers there for earnings. KC Generals, H&R Block, Fuel Cell Energy, well, declined. Quicksilver took a big hit today, folks. 22 cents as a loss, 16% decline in revenues. Wow, definitely. I would definitely not like to be a shareholder of Quicksilver. Now, Lululemon, they did well, right? By 1 cent, revenues increased. So people still love their clothing there. And General Electric, they say that they're looking to actually sell. They confirm that they will sell their private equity business to the CBBIB, which is a Canadian company. And Atmel, they actually working to explore strategic alternatives. So I think investors are encouraged by that. That might include the sale of the company. So there's some speculators who are getting into that stock. Concerning the news on the Canadian side, though, there's news I want to focus on this. First of all, Bombardier, there's the Salon du Bourget that is starting today. Now, for Salon du Bourget, the CEO said that it's not critical to the success of the C-Series. Suncor Energy, the stock is rebounding, it's benefiting from the rebound of the energy sector. Not a buy because it still maintains its downward trend. And this company announced new measures that could allow them to cut costs. They signed an agreement with Komatsu that will provide them some trucks that can be driven, that are driven by computers, that are run by computers, so there's no drivers necessary to run those trucks. They will actually use them for some of their mines in Alberta, and this will actually help them lay off 800 truckers who get paid about $200,000 per year. So that's a big saving that could happen for Suncor Energy. Well, bad for those truckers if actually this project turns out to be successful, but they announced that they signed an agreement there. And also Aecon Group, they also will get some cash, $232 million from the sale of their stake in Ecuador. And Aecon, Athabasca Minerals, they announced some inferred resources estimates at the Richardson project. And this company here, Primeline Energy Holding, they will merge with Lois Energy, and they will actually create a company that will be traded on the Singapore Stock Exchange with cash flows, with an important production, and the Primeline shareholders will be the main controller of that new entity. Lois is not trading on the TSX, neither on the Venture Index, so this is why I don't have the ticker there. And Canadian Natural Resources, they announced that they will postpone their plan that for spending because they say there's too much uncertainty with the new energy finance minister, the new energy minister of Alberta. Concerning some sectors I think you could favor though, first of all, we're going to focus on the copper sector where there's the possibility, really the possibility that we could confirm a bottom. For instance, we have Freeport-McMoRan that's confirming a base. I don't know if it's going to be really solid enough. For me to be solid, Freeport needs to break 2067. Southern Copper also as well confirming a base. First Quantum, right? But First Quantum has a resistance at 1850. HUD base staying stabilizing, right? So those stocks are confirming a base. And really, I don't think that right now it's inappropriate to open those positions. I think if it is a sector we could start to open long positions, is the energy sector with stocks that have outperformed with the recent decline.
Find answers to your questions by emailing your host at btm@decisionplus.com.
5 good reasons to manage your investments with National Bank Direct Brokerage. Commission fees fixed at $9.95 anytime for all clients and starting at only $6.95 for active investors. No administrative fees if you hold at least $20,000 in your accounts. Registered accounts available in U.S. currency. Powerful tools to help you manage your portfolio. Award-winning customer service and satisfaction levels amongst the highest in the industry. To learn more, visit nbdb.ca or call us now.
Real-time coaching has been created. We search and classify critical reports and technical movements. You can visualize or hear the best buying and selling opportunities. Get real-time advice all day long and 3 live coaching shows per day. Let us do the work and save your time for trading. Try marketgurus.tv free without obligation for 10 days in the menus above.
Hello guys, so we have one question here. Hi, what do you think of the new Ray.A? Thanks Michelle. Well, Stingray, it's a company I know because my brother works there. What I know from their business model is that it's a company that sells audio streaming to some companies, for instance, like maybe airline companies, the radio that you see, the TVs that you see on the airline, on your airlines when you travel, or on your TV and cable, there's some specialized channel for music. So that's what they do. I think the fact that they are on the stock market will only be an opportunity for them to grow more because they'll have access to more capital to go to other countries. And now for Stingray, I know what the article I read when they made their IPO is that they have not put all the shares that they had on the market, so they still have, it's still a stock that will be thinly traded, so there will not be that much share available for the public. And the thing is, I know that they're going to use a lot of those proceeds to pay down some debt. So it's a new story, a story to be followed, I would say. Of course, I have a little bias because my brother works there, so tells me about this company sometime. But worth to follow. Technically speaking, I cannot give you an advice right now because the stock is having a correction. I think if ever we could see the stock starting to form a sideways formation here, let's say we have a sideways formation here around 825, 827, that might be a go on a stock like Stingray. So that's what I have to say on a stock like that. Now, Todd wants me to analyze Whitecap Resources for entry exit point for 6-month hold. Thanks. Well, entry exit 6-month hold. So you have a 6-month period of holding that stock. So what you could do, let's put a retracement here. So you see that we are actually at the 38.2% retracement around $13.11 for Whitecap Resources. So that's a point where we could actually start to begin a bottom. However, that stock has not been able to resist the recent decline that we had in the energy sector. So for today, on today's rebound, I would avoid getting into a stock like that. Now, what would be the entry point for the 6 to 12 month on a stock like that? For me, the entry point becomes whenever you have a reversal of this downward trend. So if ever we have the stock that could go above 1367, for me, that would be a go. I think it's close to have a bottom, to confirm a bottom, but it's not clear yet. And 1367 will be the go. As for the exit point, well, below 1311, because if it goes below 1311, now, but you see, we put the Fibonacci retracement here, and you see that the next target now becomes around what? 1223. So if it goes below 1311, 1223 becomes the next stop. So that's actually a point 1311, 13 bucks, where you're gonna have to close out positions if you're buying it at 1367. But if you have a 6 to 12 month, a 6-month hold on that stock, you also have to see what are their costs per production, because we actually have an environment where American companies have poured a lot of capital into technology to be advanced technologically to produce oil and natural gas at a lower price, especially with the fracking technology. So even if there's a low interest rate environment, those companies are going to continue to make money. So it's important that a company like this, Whitecap Resources, adapt and actually has a low cost production that would allow it to survive under $60, $50 per barrel of oil. So you also have to take that into account. If you have a 6-month hold period, you need to make your homework on that stock. But technically speaking, 1367 as a go, $13, $13.11 as an exit point for a 6-month hold, but see also how the cost of production evolve over time. Now, CST, CO2 Solutions, for possible buy, that's definitely a stock I'll put on my watch list. I love the pattern on that stock. I think 28 cents will be the go on a stock like that. Right now, the only thing I don't like is volumes that have been slightly declining on that stock. But the fact that it's neutral, 28 cents will be the go. 23 cents, 24 cents will be the exit point on CST. But it's definitely a nice pick, though, for Z for that stock. Now, also, I want to say that on MarketGurus.tv, what we do, because that's a stock that has been explosive, that's the type of stock that will fit the pattern of a list that we have recently started to publish on MarketGurus.tv. It is a list of stocks that have been explosive in the past and that could continue to be explosive. For instance, there's OCLS that was published last week on that list, OHGI, Soferis. So really those stocks are not stocks that are buying opportunities, but just stocks to be watched. And that stock I'm showing you right now on the graph, as well as CST that you mentioned, Z, would fit that criteria to be on that list. So it's a nice pick, a stock to be watched for an eventual breakout at 28 cents for a buying point. As for the best day trade of the day, it's that stock here. It's on stock on New York on the energy sector, because it's a sector that has been the best performing today, mostly for day trading. So you had several entry points on that stock, right? Right now it's showing some weakness. The next entry point, it should be around 128, 127 on the reversal of this downward trend on REN on the New York Stock Exchange. So I'm going to take the other questions tomorrow, folks. Be there tomorrow. I'm going to take the questions from Mark and from Anon. The wrap up of the day is, yes, the energy sector is strongest. Yes, there are some stocks that have resisted the decline that if you want to open some long positions on them, that you could favor. We saw, for instance, ESI on the TSX, Precision Drilling as an example. I don't think that today to get into some stocks that are still within their downward trend, such as WCP that Ted mentioned, it's not appropriate because we cannot say that today's rebound is the bottom on the energy sector. So this is why I think you should remain patient, to not rush your move, to open some positions such as WCP or others like Enerplus that are still maintaining their downward trend and not able to reverse their downward trend. So that's it, folks. See you tomorrow at 12:30 on the Swing Trading Show on DecisionPlus.com.